Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wild. Today we are talking about, do restaurants stall orders on purpose? So I received a question on my video on whether or not restaurants steal tips and if it is actually possible. I'll link to that video in the description because you may need some context for this one. Joseph Murawski, I really hope I said your name right, he asked me, if they outsource a non-tip delivery to Doordash, do they delay making the order until it's been accepted by a driver? First of all, Joe, thank you so much for asking and making this video possible, because this one was a little bit more in depth than I thought it was going to be. So in this video, we're going to talk about different scenarios and if they delay making the order for those scenarios, as well as other important points on the subject. But before we get started on that, I do want to be clear, I'm going to exclude anything that involves shop and deliver or place and pay orders, because that's a completely different scenario. So no red cards or purple cards or plus cards involved in this.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time card.
Let's start with scenario number one. Customer orders restaurant food through Doordash. These are these casual sit-down restaurants that you receive DD orders from. This is Anthony's Coal-Fired Pizza, Cheesecake Factory, things to that effect. Sometimes restaurants will intentionally delay the orders being produced because they want to fulfill the orders of people who are in person before they fulfill the orders of Doordash drivers.
See, now that's some bullshit.
Honestly, it's stupid, it's unnecessary, and it's really a sign of poor management, in my opinion. We're not a priority to them on that front. Customer orders fast casual food through Doordash. This is your Five Guys, Chipotle's, Subways, etc. They would normally just put your order on a shelf and you just take it off the shelf or request for it and they'll hand it to you. Now, speaking of places like Chipotle, which are super popular, those orders may take extra time to work on depending on the system that they have available to them. Some restaurants have more than a sufficient work setup for gig workers specifically, but some have these ridiculously tiny reject corners, or even worse, they just put them on the main line and say, hey, just figure it out, in which people can barely handle the ticket flow, let alone just handle the very impatient gig workers that are trying to make a buck. Patience will be required for this because it's not always the fault of the worker and they're just working with what's available to them.
Have patience, don't be in such a hurry.
Now, there are places like Five Guys, which will delay certain parts of the order from being made. Because number one, it's very quick to make. And number two, those orders have a tendency to leak through the bag, get cold, and that genuinely affect the quality of the order. Now, could them not tipping have anything to do with that? Of course. But either way, who wants a bag of soggy grease instead of French fries? I mean, come on. That's gross for all parties involved. Customer orders fast food through Doordash. Oh, this is a whole world of things. McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, Chick-fil-A. Once upon a time, they did intentionally not start the order until they arrived. I mean, it's fast food, right? We could just make it quick. Well, if you're not making it quick, then that's a problem. Not to mention, McDonald's workers have made it especially harder for us to do our job and deliberately tried to avoid acknowledging the fact that we are alive. It became so bad that McDonald's are going to be charged more for lateness if they do choose to ignore the fact that we're there. I made a video talking all about how McDonald's is going to be charged more. I'll leave that in the description. Now, places like Chick-fil-A are especially challenging because they don't got people in there. They got a drive-through with a drive-through that takes over the whole frickin' road. They will try to move your order relatively quickly, but they also got to deal with an insane line at the drive-thru, the people in the store, as well as you guys. Have a little patience with Chick-fil-A. Keep in mind, fast food places are better now, but discrimination is still there. Be careful of that. Customer orders through restaurant website, app, or phone call and is outsourced to Doordash. For the purposes of this video, we are putting all categories of restaurants in this one because they all kind of do the same thing. So some restaurants have automated their entire system and couldn't tell you if they wanted how much you were tipped and whatnot because they don't care. However, some take the manual approach and kind of just work it to their advantage, taking tips, manipulating the system to their favor, so they can either have all the food made on time and then request a driver when they are ready, not when DoorDash wants them. And some just put it in and wait for drivers to come. Papa John's actually doesn't delay the order at all. In fact, they had an order that they knew was a $0 tip and refused to hand it off to drivers. And that was a huge TikTok war online. I made a video talking all about that as well. I'll leave it in the description. A lot of plugs today, all of them are relevant. But the point is that they are more likely to just make an order and not care about the customer at all. Especially since they don't care about us. Customer orders anything from Uber Eats. Uber Eats, in my opinion, has earned a reputation of being one of those apps that just get stuff done right. Anytime I have a wait time on UE, it's because the restaurant was ran poorly or not at all. Even the understaffed restaurants have been excellent on wait times with Uber Eats. However, they are not impregnable to the general discrimination that comes against us gig workers. Uber Eats drivers are kind of lumped into the same category as DoorDash drivers, so you kind of have to suck it up for that. Customer orders any food from Grubhub. Grubhub is the opposite from Uber Eats, where they're basically the worst when it comes to wait times in the gig economy, which stinks because they do well in almost all the other areas. It's not the restaurant, it's the Grubhub system on this one. They really need to make some serious improvements. Customer orders retail products and is outsourced to DoorDash. Walmarts, grocery stores, other retail locations that kind of just prep everything for you. In some cases, Apple, Sephora, whatever. They don't intentionally delay your orders. They just need to get their overall act together. There's this Walmart around here that they have you call and they will bring it out to you. The amount of times where they ghosted me from in there and I had to walk in because they refused to answer their phone is astounding. When I get in there, they just pitter-patter on their phones, checking their makeup, not giving a rip about anything. Which I can't even blame them because Walmart managers are the root of all evil, but that's not the point.
Attention Walmart shoppers and associates. My name is Beth from Electronics. I've been working at Walmart for almost 5 years, and I can say that everyone here is overworked and underpaid. The attendant policy is bullshit. We are treated from management and customers poorly every day. Whenever we have a problem with it, we're told that we're replaceable. I'm tired of the constant gaslighting. This company treats their elderly associates like shit. To Jared, our store manager, you're a pervert. Greta and Kathy, shame on y'all for treating your associates the way you do. I hope you don't speak to your families the way you speak to us. Shout out to Cominique, Patty, Chardell, and so many more. Walmart doesn't deserve y'all. Manage it and this job. I quit.
But as far as other retailers go, most of them are just poorly organized and managed. They're not paid enough to care. I don't think this is intentional. I just think they're underpaid and overworked as it is. Customer orders convenience store products on any app. This is your Wawa's, your 7-Elevens, and any convenience store. Really. Convenience stores are funny, and the delays are typically because of missing items. Some places are proactive in replacing items, while some are just waiting for you to come so you can call the customer and ask them what they want to replace the items with. Some restaurants do that too, but most are understanding that the customer can just get a refund, which affects us driver because, well, of course they're going to blame us for that, which will cause tip baiting and overall bad ratings on the app. So if they ask you to call, try calling. If they answer, they answer. If not, just let them take the wheel and figure it out. We don't have time for customers that ghost us. Customers ordering adult products on or outsourced to DoorDash. This really applies to Uber Eats and Grubhub too, but this is your alcohol orders, tobacco orders, and other specific items on the 21 plus spectrum. Now, if an item is off on this, it is not as simple as replace the item with whatever. Most people have very distinct tastes for their cigs and booze and can't be taken lightly like that. The amount of times where I've been told, no, I don't want this brand, no, I don't want this brand, no, I don't want this brand is astounding. So you will have to contact the customer, but the same rules apply, and most times it will be done when you get there. Now, I do want to make a couple other side notes on this. Some people will just look at the wait times and say, oh, if it's too long, I'm just going to unassign. I'm not saying you should unassign every time because that can lead to contract violations. On Grubhub specifically, they actually have a big deal about that. And deactivations for low completion rates and high cancel rates. Now, there is a way to combat that, and that is developing a no-go list. This is a list of restaurants and customers that you will not work with under any circumstances. I understand it's not that simple because those orders can be really good, which is why I recommend having a buyout number. A number where if that number is met or passed, you will take that order regardless. The number would be much higher than your standard and any other order that you would receive in your area, but whatever that number is up to you. You gotta decide that for yourself. Let me ask you, did I miss anything? Are there any scenarios that I did not cover? Let me know in the comments. Let's make sure that all our bases are covered and no driver is at any mercy of any merchant. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!